Peace, salam. Um, it's a little experiment. Hopefully, some people will slide through today. Till obscure guests have been notified and let us know they're here. I was planning on put it on Asada Shakur's audio book, kind of a side to Freedom Boulevard Radio. And later on, we should have some discussions on minority interactions in Southern California and issues going on in today's current news. Without further ado, this is Sister Asada of the Black Panthers and BLA, Black Liberation Army, autobiography.
Affirmation. I believe in living. I believe in the spectrum of beta days and gamma people. I believe in sunshine, in windmills and waterfalls, tricycles and rocking chairs. And I believe that seeds grow into sprouts and sprouts grow into trees. I believe in the magic of the hands and in the wisdom of the eyes. I believe in rain and tears and in the blood of infinity. I believe in life. And I have seen the death parade march through the torso of the earth, sculpting mud bodies in its path. I have seen the destruction of the daylight and seen bloodthirsty maggots prayed to and saluted. I have seen the kind become the blind and the blind become the blind in one easy lesson. I have walked on cut glass. I have eaten crow and blunder bread and breathed the stench of indifference. I have been locked by the lawless, handcuffed by the haters, gagged by the greedy. And if I know anything at all, it's that a wall is just a wall and nothing more at all. It can be broken down. I believe in living. I believe in birth. I believe in the sweat of love and in the fire of truth. And I believe that a lost ship steered by tired, seasick sailors can still be guided home to port. Chapter 1. There were lights and sirens. Zaid was dead. My mind knew that Zaid was dead. The air was like cold glass. Huge bubbles rose and burst. Each one felt like an explosion in my chest. My mouth tasted like blood and dirt. The car spun around me, and then something like sleep overtook me. In the background, I could hear what sounded like gunfire, but I was fading and dreaming. Suddenly, the door flew open, and I felt myself being dragged out onto the pavement, pushed and punched, a foot upside my head, a kick in the stomach. Police were everywhere. One had a gun to my head. Which way did they go? He was shouting. Bitch, you'd better open your goddamn mouth or I'll blow your goddamn head off. I nodded my head across the highway. I was sure that nobody had gone that way. A few of the cops were off and running. One pig said, "We ought to finish her off." But the others were all busy around the car, searching it. They were pulling and prodding. You find the gun? They kept asking each other. Later, one of them asked another, should we put her in the car? Nah, let her lay in the gutter where she belongs. Just get her out of the way. I felt myself being dragged by the feet across the pavement. My chest was on fire. My blouse was purple with blood. I was convinced that my arm had been shot off and was hanging inside my shirt by a few strips of flesh. I could not feel it. Finally, the ambulance came and they moved me into it. Being moved was agony, but the blankets were worth it. I was so cold. The medics examined me. I tried to talk, but only bubbles came out. I was foaming at the mouth. Where she hit, they'd ask each other as if I wasn't there. They concluded their examination. I was relieved. Let's move it, one of them said. Okay, but wait a minute, said the driver, and he got out. Hit twice, I heard him say. We gotta wait. The driver slammed the door. He said something else, but I didn't understand it. Time passed. I was floating off again. It felt so weird, like a dream, a nightmare. More time passed. It seemed like forever. I was in and out, in and out. A rough voice asked, is she dead yet? I floated off again. I heard another voice. Is she dead yet? I wondered how long the ambulance had been sitting there. The attendants looked nervous. The bubbles in my chest felt like they were growing bigger. When they burst, my whole chest shattered. I faded again, and it was down south in the summertime. I thought about my grandmother. At last, the ambulance was moving. If I live, I remember thinking, I'll only have one arm. The hospital is glaring white. Everybody I see is white. Everyone seems to be waiting. All at once, they are in motion. Blood pressure, pulse, needles, etc. Two detectives come in. I know they're detectives because they look like detectives. One of them has a face like a bulldog, with jaws hanging down the sides. They'll supervise the nurse as she cuts off my clothes. After a while, one of them dabs my fingertips with what looks like Q-tips. Later, I find out that this is the neutron activation test to determine whether or not I have fired a weapon. Another one then tries to fingerprint me. He
Hey,
says it's because my
what's
hand is
going
dead.
on with the brothers? I was
Give me
just
the
waiting
dead
on y'all
meat.
to come on through so we can start this discussion that we was talking about yesterday. You still in the chat, brother Bobby? That was just Asada Shakur right there. Um, how do I invite guests? Copy. Okay, let's try that. Okay, okay. Trying to see how the stream y'all working right here. But yeah, I was just doing some I was waiting on y'all. I was doing some listening to the audio book of Asada. I know my cousin, he used to have a book, but I never read it before. So it's interesting to hear her words. Okay. Um Bear with me though. I guess I'm waiting on you to enter the studio. Let me check on the content while I wait on y'all. So it's gonna be the vice mayor.
It is possible when you're working with a program that is this flexible. They make it possible. You can make it possible. This is how I move forward.
Cynthia Gonzalez, the vice mayor of Cudahy, has since deleted the video on social media telling gang members to defend their territory from ICE.
Eyewitness News reporter Josh Haskell joins us live with the latest on what the city of Cudahy and FBI are now saying. Josh?
Well, David and Michelle, people here in Cudahy, they tell me they are scared, tensions are high. So when a vice mayor sends a message that isn't aimed for her constituents, it's not aimed for ICE agents, but for the local gangs. Those we've spoken to say it's made the situation worse.
Whoever's the leadership over there, just your members in order.
A shocking message about the ICE raids posted on social media by an elected official, Cynthia Gonzalez, who serves as the vice mayor of the small city of Cudahy, which is located in southeast LA County. The message isn't for the federal government. It's for some of the most violent street gangs in Southern California.
I want to know where all the cholos are at in Los Angeles. 18th Street, Florencia. Don't be trying to claim no block, no nothing if you're not showing up right now, trying to help out.
The video, which is over 1 minute long, has since been taken down. The FBI can't confirm or deny an investigation into Gonzalez's words. But ABC7 legal analyst Josh Ritter believes the vice mayor's call to action may have crossed the legal line.
When you're dealing with a political leader calling upon criminal street gangs to take action, that takes on a far more sinister meaning and perhaps even criminal meaning behind it. I mean, it is one thing to say, local people of the neighborhood, stand up for yourselves. It's another thing to actually call out the names of different criminal street gangs and ask them to protect their neighborhood.
In a statement, the city of Cudahy told ABC7 that they're aware of recent comments made by Vice Mayor Cynthia Gonzalez on social media. The comments made by the vice mayor reflect her personal views and do not represent the views or official position of the city of Cudahy.
Her talking about gang violence and bringing them to do, stuff like that. And I think that's horrible. We're already going through it as, ICE deporting people, and people are feeling it and sensitive about it. And then, saying that is just, it's kind of sad.
And we reached out to Gonzalez. We have not heard back. Just last month, UCLA hired Gonzalez as their new director of the Principal Leadership Institute. And 2 weeks ago, Gonzalez appeared with other LA County mayors alongside Mayor Bass at Los Angeles City Hall to discuss the ICE raids. Live in Cudahy, Josh Haskell, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Josh.
So yeah, this is supposed to be the topic that we're doing today. Little technical difficulties. Trying to figure out where the brother is right now. So that's basically the issues going on. This is a whole government official calling for gangs to take action in the streets. I could put it in the comments on how I feel about that. They're taking action in the streets. This is basically a terroristic order. You know what I mean? This is like treason. This would be treason in other countries. Peace. Who's in the chat? How y'all doing? Trying to get this together right now. I'm not seeing. Let's see how to add people up here. Oh, brother Bobby, Yay Jones. Peace, brother Bobby.
Yo, what's the deal now?
What's the deal, brother? So I was just playing.
I'm hearing a crazy echo. I don't know.
Do you have the stream open on another page too?
Let's see. No.
Is the echo still there?
Nah, it's gone. What's the dinner there?
Oh,
Top of the morning,
peace,
my
peace,
brother.
man. Burgani, man, all that.
Abaragani, yes indeed.
So I was just playing this. Should I play this back or you already
No, no,
uploaded?
no, no. I just watched it. I was
Yeah.
experiencing some technical difficulties and getting into the chat. It kept sending me back to like as if I was about to create a stream. So I had to do it several times before it brought me right here to where I'm now on a panel. But you know, just to be a buck with you, because I F with you. I don't know if you allow cursing on your platform, and I just want to be mindful and respectful of that. Just to keep a book, just to be a buck with you and everybody out there that's listening to this, coming from Southern California, this type of behavior from law enforcement and local politicians, this isn't nothing new. You know what I mean? I done been apprehended by the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department by two Hispanics. And they start talking about how black people are the scum of the earth and black people are this, that, so on and so forth, believing that I may be a typical N-word. So I remind them that you have black or African blood coursing through your very veins.
Yeah.
It was Africans or it was melanated carbonated people that fought alongside y'all to liberate Mexico. It was melanated carbonated people that's contribution is the reason why you celebrate Cinco de Mayo. I had to give them a history lesson. And it resulted in them pepper spraying me because they wasn't ready for that type of truth. They have never been fed or taught that type of information. So they perceived it as being misinformation that was derogatory and disrespectful. But it
Oh,
was
you were telling them that. You were telling them their history.
hell yeah, I'm telling them their history. Because how dare you have this type of perception of my people? How dare you look at us so lowly, but the same peoples who oppress my people oppress your people? The same conditioning that my people went under is the same conditioning that your people went up under. See, now y'all then went through this grafting system to where they forbade you from having babies with the melanated carbonated individual. They said either have babies amongst yourself or have babies with us. And we will incentivize you for having babies with us. It come with perks, trinkets, and ornaments in a certain social status if you have babies with us. I just watched a video. I think it was Patrick Mulhan. He has a black father. His mother is either white or biracial, but I believe that she's white. And they showed how quickly the pigmentation in us can change when we continue to have or interbreed with people who are lighter than us.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you
When they
go
say
ahead.
that one drop rule, pardon me. So when they say that one drop rule, it's very easy for you to have a pitch black, blue black ancestor, and for that to be bred out within 2 to 3
3 to
generations.
4 generations.
Couldn't even tell at all. Only thing you could tell is that person might have black features, maybe some lips or dark features as in eyes or black hair, and it could be straight hair. It'd just be dark colored. It wouldn't be like the blonde or the auburn. And this right here is this right here is Presidente Guerrero de Negro. You know what I'm saying? Of the Mexican Revolution.
Vicente Guerrero, the America's first black president. While the United States did not have a black president until the 2008 election of Barack Obama, the nation's 44th chief executive, Mexico elected a black hero of its independence struggle, Vicente Guerrero, as its second president. Born near Acapulco to an African father and an indigenous mother, Guerrero would play a key role in Mexico's war to expel the Spanish. In 1810, Guerrero joined the fight to oust Spanish forces from Mexico, first by rallying insurgents in the southwestern highlands.
Thank you for that report.
I wanted to show that, just to show some of their, their history. You know what I mean?
Most definitely.
And you was telling them that. Go ahead.
Most definitely. But this isn't something that's new. Local politicians, law enforcement push their peoples towards being racial or racist towards blacks. When you go into the county jail facilities and a race riot break out, you got Hispanic dudes in there with shit that look like this.
Yeah.
How the fuck did you get that into a controlled environment? There are people make sure they have the up on us. The the composition of some of these dorms and modules, bro. If it's a dorm that got 60 people in it, you may fall into a dorm to where it's 52 Hispanic and 8 blacks. And they know the racial tension, they know the racial elements, but they still put blacks in there to be at the mercy of these Hispanics. So this ain't nothing new. Now they want to publicize it, and now they want to speak out against it because she's doing it against a government agency versus blacks. When they do it against blacks, when they tell these Hispanic street gangs to be racial and take actions against blacks, it's hunky-dory, it's cool, it's acceptable. But now it's not acceptable because they're doing it against a United States government agency. But this is shit that we've been experiencing in Southern California. This shit ain't shocking. This shit ain't perplexing. It ain't mind-boggling for us because we've been dealing with these racial elements from law enforcement and local politicians. You got local politicians in Los Angeles that's been calling us niggers. That's been called referring to us as monkeys, so on and so forth.
It's bad out here. It's bad. I didn't really I never had a racist bone in my body. I know racism and I dealt with it all my life. But till I moved to California, it didn't get so bad within my personal life and how it affected me, how I affect people than living in California for like over a decade. You know what I'm saying? And in California, the segregation and the spirit of it is very separate. I would think everything was hippies and you know what I mean, everything was together and you feel me, cool, but nah, man, it's very, very segregated.
Right.
Good morning, Princess J. How you doing? But
man, it's super segregated. If you're looking for a more harmonious relationship between the Latinos, I don't like to call them brown. Because when you look at my skin complexion, this is brown, most definitely.
Yeah.
But when you look at the Latino community and the black community, and you're looking for something that's more harmonious, that's more together, you got to go up to the Bay. In the Bay, the Hispanics up there that's called Norteños, they still have a deep respect for the blacks, and the blacks still have a deep respect for them, and it shows in the day-to-day interactions and you know how they get down up there. But when you come down here,
I heard that about the up north. I never been up there like that. I just drove through, but I heard it's a better
relationship, most definitely. But when you come down here, homie, you know, certain gangs, they write in blank. In blank is black people.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? They hang monkeys from their porches to indicate we don't like blacks. We don't want you in our community. A lot of blacks come from out of state thinking, oh, it's California, it's cool and surfer dudes. No. Yeah. You move into the wrong barrio, homie, you can be a victim. They're
because in the East Coast, you feel me? They're not even like how I don't know if it's the sunlight or the food or the water to make them grow.
The numbers
out here, yeah, because out there in the East, where they
in a region of Mexico that they're coming from. You say out there on the East Coast, they smaller. You talking about stature?
Yeah,
right.
They smaller, like more so like the Paisa culture.
Exactly.
Maybe that's who travels more or something like that.
Right.
Most of the Paisa that stick to themselves, carry a big wad of money in their pocket, boots.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Right. But them, you know, getting shape ups and stuff like that, or you know what I mean, all the tattoos and saying the N word. You feel me? You can feel free to curse, you know, like you feel me. I'm trying to work on it myself, but it's all good. But yeah, they be saying nigga and all that shit. You know what I mean? It really was a culture shock to me out here, you know. And then I think the way some people don't like it, but I'm gonna just say it. You know who you can't talk about when you know who's in power, and the way black people revere when they speak about, you know, these our neighbors out here. It kind of sounds like in a form of like being under persecution. It's like, oh, don't talk about them, or oh, don't do that, or you know. I remember I was down in San Diego. I used to always you know, I always still had a revolutionary heart being from New Jersey, and I used to never like deal with nobody like race playing me and nothing like that. And they used to always be like, oh, you always trying to trip on the Mexicans and the whites. You feel me? Like they wanted to trip more so on other black people.
That's cowardice.
Yeah, and a lot of that, I feel like, you know, there's the people live under fear. I don't know how it was in the early '90s, but I know there was a lot of racial tensions. Can you touch on that within the '90s and the tensions?
In the early 90s, something monumental had transpired in the community that I'm from, Watts, California. Brothers from the Nickerson Gordon Housing Projects, that's the Bonniana Watts Bloods. Brothers from the Imperial Courts Housing Projects, that's where I'm from, the PJ Watts Crips, and brothers from the Jordan Down Housing Projects, the Gray Street Watts Crips, had enough. One of my big homies, Henry Pico, rest in peace to Tiny Loke, he was unalived by the police.
Mm.
And I remember this like it was yesterday, man. It was strategic, and it was it was an assassination to send fear throughout the community. The way that they did it, homie, they identified where Tiny was at, and all the lights in Imperial Courts housing projects went off. When the lights went off, you heard the shoot. Bloom, blam, blam, bloom, bloom, blah, 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 bloom, boom, 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 boom. Just a whole lot of shooting. After the shooting stopped, you heard the screaming, and that's what lets you know that somebody got hit. When we ran outside, you know, I was a kid. I didn't run across the street, but I can see it from my auntie's door in the Pure Course housing projects. Everybody standing around a figure that was on the ground. The police unjustifiably assassinated Tiny because of what he represented to the community. He was a powerful brother. They saw how powerful he was. They saw his potential in unifying his people and driving the community in a different direction. And he
He's
got
like an
rid of
alpha brother, like one of them alpha brothers. You know how we get in like every generation, like the alpha nigga. You know what I mean? Like that.
Tiny
Yeah.
was loved by everybody. He was a gangster. He
Mhm.
was a player. He was a money maker. You know what I mean? He was a triple threat. You know, in basketball, they call those type of individuals triple threats when you can do this, and this. You feel what I'm saying? You know, Tiny was an all-around gangster, but he loved his homies and he loved his community. Once they assassinated Tiny, the PJ Watts Crips led a protest at the Los Angeles Police Department to where tensions began to intensify to the point to where it was going to be a shootout with the police. That's how much the PJs love Tiny and how strongly we disagree with the actions of the Los Angeles Police Department. From what I hear simultaneously as all this is going on, the Gray Streets and the Bonnianas, Nickerson Gordon housing projects, and the Jordan Down housing projects is having peace talks. So they're like, man, we need somebody from PJs to come to the table. But mind you, the Nickerson Gardens and the Jordan Downs has always had a relationship when they had a gang in the 1960s called the Green Jackets.
The Green Jackets, okay.
The Green Jackets, the primary members of this group of brothers called the Green Jackets was from out of the Nickerson Gordon housing projects and the Jordan Down housing projects. When Crippen was introduced to Watts, the Jordan Down housing projects, they kind of
part of the bounty hunters and the Grape Streets that used to be together. You saying?
Hell yeah, most definitely, yeah. Then they got back together, you know what I mean? But you know, they always had a relationship with one another. The Gray Streets, they resisted the influence of Crips for many years before they allowed the Crippen to come and inhabit their projects under the Jordan Down Crips. At first, they wasn't rocking with it because they had a relationship with the Nickerson Gordon housing projects through the Green Jackets. So, make a long story short, these projects is in peace talks, or ceasefire talks, and it just so happened that they unalived the homie Tiny Loke, and it just so happened that all this shit is going on around the time either a few months before or a few months after the unaliving of the sister Natasha Harlan. All this is going on. This is going on around the same time as the Rodney King beating. The verdict comes out, the riots get cracking, and then the peace treaties start. The PJs, the Bonnianas, and the Gray Streets come together with representatives from the Hacienda Village Bloods as well. They all came together and said, we got to put this shit to the side. And that's what birthed the peace treaties. Somehow, some way, when all this is going on, to progress our people forward, getting us up out of the desire to unalive and target and victimize and brutalize one another, some way, somehow, propaganda had been spread, right? It's been circulated in the brown community that we were coming together to oppose the Mexicans in the LAPD.
That's not funny, but I'm like the delusion, the way the devil work.
What the fuck is we opposing the Mexicans for? And one of the hoods that was at the tape.
Even back in the day, you know, even in New Jersey, we still had like a little. It wasn't over no tension with them or nothing like that. I mean, it still isn't really like that, but now they kind of, you feel me? It's kind of changing now. But growing up, I had a little friend. His name was Romel. He was like a Mexican. Got left back like 3 times. He was old as hell. Me and him was cool. I was like in elementary school. You know what I mean? But through the years, you feel me? Something happening with them because you know niggas. We always be like, oh yeah, you know, you a little black too. Oh, you know, you got a little black. You know what I'm saying? We always trying to relate with other people, but now those things have definitely changed. It's a different time and day, man.
Right.
Was it the same in Watts? Was y'all more close?
Yeah, man. We never really had a problematic relationship with the Hispanic brothers. The Hispanics, see, this is the thing, homie. Hispanics are indoctrinated, they're programmed and conditioned to distrust and dislike blacks. Elementary school, we cool. The first female that ever finger banged was a Hispanic female, was a Mexican female. Word is bond in elementary school. Elvira. No, word is bond. We in the class, you know what I mean? We were stuck in detention. We couldn't go out to play. And the teacher wanted to sit somewhere where she can watch us as she step out and talk to another teacher.
Yeah.
And you know, she just like started like just talking to me and rubbing my arm and took my hand, and you know what I mean? I started finger banging Elvira. Then many years later, you know, I will finger bang another female. I was like 10, she was like 16. But this is like in the first or second grade.
Yeah.
But that's a separate conversation because then we got to ask ourselves, why was Elvira so promiscuous?
Yeah, I was about to say I was in kindergarten. Dominican girl. She was I mean, I ain't gonna say her name because now she's one of my relatives' baby moms.
That's
but
heavy.
she was you know, real fast in kindergarten. And nobody else was like that. I'm like, so you know, like under the table we should do stuff, you know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
Like why, you know, that's another very over sexualized, something going on, you know.
Somebody had to be touching Elvira.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For her to be that promiscuous so young and her taking the lead on it. Yeah. I didn't initiate it. I enjoyed it, but I ain't initiate that. You feel what I'm saying? But this is the truth. But in elementary school, we're cool.
Mm-hmm.
In junior high school, we're all right. You can slightly notice the difference in them. You can slightly notice a change. And then when they get to high school, Hector, they used to talk like, what's up, man? What's what, you know, like us a little bit. He like, what's up, dog? Hey, serio, fool. Hey, palabra, dog. Hey, don't fucking disrespect me, homie. Hey, serio, canal. And it's a switch up. And it's easy for them to transition to being anti-black than it is for us to be anti-Mexicans because we have never been taught to hate them. We're very welcoming into our communities. We're very understanding. And like you say, we always try to find things that can allow us to relate to other individuals.
That's why I had an issue when the whole thing happened out with Lefty Gunplay. And then ODM Slim was like, "Oh, all our families told us to fuck Mexicans." Like, nah, bro. My family.
No. ODM Slim, he said that his grandmother said that if he bring a Mexican home or anybody that's not black home, it's a problem. And I did a video rebuttaling that because it may have just been his family or it may have just been his region on the west side. But a lot of our families wanted us to impregnate Mexican females because they wanted grandbabies with lighter skin and hair that wasn't so coarse. Word is bond. As a teenager, my pops used to tell me, man, I want some black and Mexican grandbabies. I love my sisters. I'm not saying I'm opposed to procreating with a Hispanic, you know, female. I'm not against that, but we have never been taught that level of hatred. Now, whites, oh, my grandmama and all of them tell you, don't bring no white woman in my house. Oh, hell no, I would. Yeah, don't bring no white woman here.
That's definitely cultural, like them saying, like, oh yeah, nah.
They don't trust white folks. See, in Watts, a lot of our people come from the South, Mississippi,
Mhm.
Louisiana, Alabama, Arkansas. We migrated from the South to out West. So a lot of our grandparents still had that Southern distrust for white folks because they know how white folks got down.
Yeah.
We never really experienced the racism that they experienced when it was out there in the South. So we'd be like, white folks, like, what you got against white folks? But
Yeah.
as we get older and we start learning their ways and how they systemically and systematically oppress us and put certain things into play to where black people can't progress as fast as any other ethnic group. And then they created the model minority when they allowed the Asians to come over here and reap the benefits of everything that we fought, marched, and died for.
So how did that work on the West Coast? Because I know they came out to California first, right? The
Who?
Asian communities. Was
The
it the
Asians always been out west. Even when we
railroad?
was working with them on the railroads and all that type of shit. Yeah, we used to have a beautiful relationship with them. The
Okay.
ones that were Americanized, we had a good relationship. It's the foreigners that come over here that ain't never seen a black person. And then when they come over here, the first thing that the white folks tell them is don't trust them niggas.
And I
Then
found it quite interesting because I lived in California for a while, but I never knew I had actual family, like actual blood relatives out here. So I met them like last year, and I moved up close to LA, and so they are actually black and Chinese.
that's
You know,
heavy. Right.
they from like the Pasadena area, South Central.
Right. Yeah.
And so yeah, I never knew that. So I found out that was very interesting. And my cousin, she's my grandfather's first cousin, so she's older than me. You know what I mean? So she's half and half. So that means they were kind of progressive way back then.
Right.
You know, but yeah, I found that
We had a
interesting.
relationship with the Asians, man. Like it was no problems there. But then here comes the American government, these politicians that we just seen how they get down. You feel what I'm saying? To where they created distrust in between most Asian communities, because I don't like to generalize and say all Asians, because Filipinos, Cambodians, the peoples from Vietnam, Saipan, Guam, South Asia, the South Asian individuals, they still rock with blacks to this day. There was a time to where the Asian boys, and that's like the Cambodians, Filipinos,
Cambodia is a very revolutionary country. You
most
know,
definitely,
like I
most
think
definitely.
the Filipinos that they could kind of switch it on and off, but I know Cambodians for sure be like, you know what I'm saying? Like for me personally, the Cambodians I've met, they've been very revolutionized. They don't use the Western mind or the thinking that maybe other Asians might use. And a lot of Cambodians, they've been real solid. And even what they was going on within their country with colonialism,
Right.
so they might have gave that revolutionary spirit to their children or whatnot.
It's real similar with the Filipino people as well. But listen, I don't want to digress. I want to get back to what you asked me, right? We noticed a change in the Hispanics in the early 90s. They started having gang meetings to where they told their people, hey, we're not about to be aggressively going after one another. We have to go after the blacks. We need to start taking territory from them, and we need to monopolize the drug trade. So we're putting a green light on the blacks. We're not pushing this agenda of Soreños, unaliving Soreños. You want to unalive somebody, you take that aggression out on the blacks. And that's how all this shit started. They start taking off on blacks in the county jail because they seen that the numbers was in their favor. But then, it goes back to their cultural teaching. We don't like blacks. We're not black. We don't want to mix with blacks. We don't want to be blacks. We want to be white. They voted to be considered and categorized and classified as white on censuses. Even when they fill out job applications, they put white, Hispanic. They didn't want to be aligned with the black folks that had their back. The black folks that made sure that they can come over here and receive the basic rights that every human should be entitled to. We voted, we passed bills, we voted for legislation and assembly bills and all that for them to be able to come over here and sustain themselves.
Our nice ass grandmothers was like, go ahead, babe, don't be mean to them, help them out.
Righteous.
They don't know no better.
Righteous, and they stabbed us in the back. Now they pushing NK. I've been recently having these conversations with brothers about the inner minority relationship with us and the Asians. Koreans, mostly in California. I can't speak for anywhere else. I'm speaking for the region of California that I'm from. Koreans, Chinese, and Japanese, they don't really fancy niggas. They don't really fuck with us like that. But when you the Cambodians, the Filipinos, and everything that's like them, the islanders, they rock with us, they fuck with us. You feel what I'm saying? But for the Koreans, the Japanese and Chinese that really don't too much like blacks, when you go in their community, you don't see them write nigger killer. You don't see them hanging monkeys off their porch. They don't do that. The Mexicans go to the extreme to let you know we don't like you. And if we catch you down bad, we gonna put something on you. And this is the truth.
Yeah. Do you think that has something to do with the Mexican culture down south of the border?
Most definitely, yeah. Yeah, because even the melanated, carbonated people that's south of the border, they get treated as second-class citizens.
Yeah, so what would Raza mean? Because those people are 100% Mexicans. I remember with the Tijuana, I thought this one dancer, talking about, I thought she was Dominican. She said, no, yo soy mexicana. Like, she got mad at me. She had a little afro, little Mexican afro and everything. You feel me? Like,
Right.
A little bit.
That's the raza.
I'm like, yo.
That's the raza.
But do they get treated as Raza? Say they go over the border and they still, like, what's that one?
Listen, the original.
Orange
Go ahead.
Drexter joint or something like that. Have you heard of him?
Full-blooded Mexican.
Oh, he's full-blooded. He's not half?
Hell no, that nigga full-blooded Mexican. Mama and daddy from, I think, Guerrero or Veracruz, Mexico. Okay, that's where the brothers and sisters is at. And they create this false narrative that the people down there in Mexico who looks like us, because they got Mexicans that look like us.
Yeah.
They say, oh, they are runaway slaves. No. There was an indigenous group of melanated, carbonated people that inhabited that region before the Asiatic people came over through the Bering Strait.
They always do say there's runaway slaves or whatnot.
And that's a false narrative. And the reason why they create that narrative is to make you feel like you're less than and they're more than. No, fuck that. It ain't too many places around this globe, if you believe that the world is a globe, whatever you believe, but it ain't too many places in this realm of existence called Earth that you can go to, and the black peoples aren't indigenous or original too. Ain't that many places. At first they tried to say that the aboriginals down there in Australia, oh no, they're not the original. Yeah, they are the original people. But they still took the land from these people who are native, who are the original people of this land. You understand what I'm saying? The land gives you power because the land produces resources.
That's what a revolution is over. It's over land, man. Malcolm wanted land.
That's what we need, land. And when they come into not our communities, but when they come into our countries and things of that nature, when they invade the countries, the first thing that they take and occupy is the land. Because the land produces resources that they use to make themselves the superpowers and so on and so forth. Africa can be the most powerful continent on the face of this earth, but they're disunified. And they're in the destitute, they're so destitute, they're so poor, right? That the leadership is selling out the people just so he can experience what it is to experience Caucasians heaven here on earth.
Yes.
That's counterproductive.
I'm not saying that communism is going to be the answer to everything, but I do think it should be a building block to build something if you have nothing. Like, what if we tried communism just for 7 years and then we could go into a democracy or something? Because if we have nothing, what we going to do? They out there, the rich is getting richer just to live a white life, to go to England. A lot of Nigerians up there, you know what I'm saying? Or Banana Island out there in Nigeria. And they do live these lavish lives and they drain from the people. And the first thing in Nigeria tell you, like, oh yes, don't talk about my people. I love my people. But oh yes, it is very hard. And sometimes so it's always like a double, like people love their places, but then hate it so much. Is there's this capitalist mindset. They imagine a United States of Africa, like
that'll change the game. That will alter the current power structure. Everybody else will be obsolete, but they understand because they think 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 years in advance. They know the potential for the African continent coming together as one country. Nobody be able to stand up against that.
What do you feel like when people say, oh, California used to be a part of Mexico?
It was.
Okay, so what was Mexico? Was that not also a colonial construct from Spain because the Aztecs didn't just rule from Colorado and all these other places, right? These were other tribes that were taken over by Mexico. Was it this white power structure system?
Pretty much, because Mexico, I believe, began to be called Mexico when the Spaniards came over here. It
Yeah.
wasn't called Mexico before then.
So when people say that, oh, it used to be Mexico, I mean, but those people had firepower.
Pause real quick. Excuse me, real quick.
No problem. But yeah, but basically what I'm saying to the chat or later on chat when y'all hear that, this was a actual country. This is a place that was taken over. They want to talk about name stakes.
Yeah, I'm back, my brother. Forgive me.
All right, no problem. It's all good. But yeah, I was just saying that this was a country. You know what I'm saying? It was taken over. So it wasn't like under even the same regime.
Righteous.
So when they're saying, oh, Rasa, this and that, they're making their own hybrid new race of what they consider or what genotype that they want. Would you agree?
Rasa basically means the community, the people.
Mm.
And the composition of it was what they call I don't even know what to call the melanated carbonated people that wasn't runaway slaves, but it was runaway slaves. It was those dark-skinned individuals that inhabited that land before the Asians came. It was the descendants of Asians that we call natives that was there as well. They all came together to resist and to fight the European invaders. That's what the Rasa was. They called them the Rasa cosmic people. And we already know when we talk about the universal black man, the cosmic being, that relates and pertains to us. It's no other people that has been described or defined as such with using reference to the heavens
Or soul, my soul brother, solar.
all that, yeah. But when the Hispanics begin to become proactive in trying to align themselves with the white folks or to stand up with the white folks in a nice fashion to say, man, we just want to be white, that's when they exclusively use the word Darasa to describe them. The original people that came to Los Angeles and started the city of Los Angeles, it was melanated carbonated people, runaway slaves, and what they call indigenous or native people that came and started Los Angeles. Los Angeles was actually started by some of the founders of Los Angeles was black. Word is bond. This is the truth. The last mayor of California, Pico Delgado, not Pico Delgado, forgive me, that's the salsa, but Pico de Pico or something like that, he was a black brother. A wealthy black brother. They got a street named after him in downtown Los Angeles, Pico Boulevard. You know what I mean? So we always had a presence in what they call Mexico. We always been down there, even before the runaway slaves even had the idea to go down there. You feel what I'm saying? From America. And then
Yeah,
it was
with Andrew Jackson, right? I think
I think that's the Seminoles.
Seminoles, didn't they run from Florida to
went into Mexico? Yes, indeed.
Some black people with them. That went down there.
The melanated carbonated people that was there before slavery was introduced to what we call Mexico, they were the liberators that went down there and started letting the black people out. Just run that way, go that way, go that way. We got you. Once you get into that wooded area, we got you. We got food for you. We got housing for you. Whatever you need, we got you. And we're going to integrate you into our community. We're going to teach you the traditions. We're going to teach you the language. We got you. But so go ahead.
They basically selling their souls for money, because we do know that some of these organizations that move these things, they worship certain spirits. And you said they want to corner the drug game above the border. So we was their brothers, but now they're like severing that, so would that be considered like a terroristic group against black peoples in Southern California?
Motherfucking right. If we're gonna call a ball, strike a strike, most definitely. That's what it is. But the media never gives you that point of view.
Because
When
this
they
woman just said on the news, like, "Hey, where are all of you cholos? Where
right,
you
right, right,
at?"
right, 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 right,
It's crazy.
right.
That is insane.
Man, that homie.
She should be in the feds, and I don't wish jail on nobody, but that's some treason shit right there.
That's super treason. That's super treason. When they go out and they riot and they fly the Mexican flag while
Mhm.
creating destruction here in America, that's treasonous.
Mm.
You come over here and you create destruction in
With
our
a
city.
country's flag, yeah,
Come on, homie.
that's crazy. Yeah,
That's
that's
beyond
set
crazy.
tripping right there. It's
I
set
mean,
tripping.
when we have
Country
disagreements with
flags.
the policies and the procedures, or when the United States of America look the other way, when our peoples are unalive with everybody recording, and you know that this officer just did some bunk bullshit, we
Mhm.
don't resort to those measures.
Mm. And what's crazy is like a lot of the Hispanics have voted for Trump, you know,
Right.
and I don't know if it's true or not. They said it was Hispanics, Black people, and Arabs. The three groups that you would think would vote for him. They
But why
said,
not? Why would we not vote for Trump?
oh, I mean, well, I mean, to some people they would think that. A lot of people was advocating with Kamala and stuff. Honestly, as soon as I saw Megan Thee Stallion twerking and they was talking about all that abortion, I was like, nah, man, I got a daughter. I was like, I'm not about to have this shit go on. You feel me? You can't. You gonna bring Megan Thee Stallion out to twerk for America? Come on, look like a
It's
Kamala Wild.
crazy.
Yeah, she was wilding, man.
And that's
That's
why people don't respect our women, and they look at our women as being the epitome of the word, or the poster child for the word bitch, bitch,
harlotry.
harlotry. Yeah, no, that shit wasn't cool. We need less Megan Thee Stallions, Nicki Minaj's, city girls, and all this other tomfoolery and bullshit that's misleading our kids because they feel like we already got their males.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't use their vehicle, right? The biggest voice that we ever had was hip hop to convey messages to the world, what's going on in these destitute communities. But they stepped in, they controlled it, and then they contaminated the message, right? Motherfuckers don't even be on no KRS-One, no public enemy type shit no more.
Even Beat Street at the end of it, they used to dress weird, but they message was like, yeah, you gotta beware. Outside is AIDS. You gotta strap it up. Like in the 80s, they was like saying like positive shit, like
righteous,
oh damn,
righteous,
okay, like
righteous.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, man.
But today's rappers is going to motivate you and inspire you to go out there and engage in some high risk activities that can be detrimental to you. They don't talk about protective sex because it's AIDS out there, it's HIV, herpes, and all type of incurable diseases out there that you can contract through unprotected sex.
Real talk, yeah.
They don't tell you about the 100-year sentence that you can get from going out there and trooping or sliding. The reality of this shit. They don't tell you about the race riots was more Hispanics than it is your people, and they come in unalive. There's certain organizations, when you get into the California Department of Correction, they got a pamphlet for you. Here, homie, check that out. And what it is how to strategically hit your opposition to cause maximum effect. To pressure point. Here, hit him here, hit him there. He's not getting back up. And eight times out of 10, we are their opposition. We are the ones that they're coming to unalive.
It's always us.
It's always us.
Grey's Anatomy. I think I've heard someone, I don't know who said it. A lot of these revolutionary ideas that they have for their own roster and their own people in this movement, they had got that from revolutionary Black people in the 60s and 70s. Certain books that we used to read, like the Art of War.
Art of War, most definitely.
Yeah, anatomy, like learning arteries and stuff like that. Different workout training, things like that, and it's working. I've noticed that a tactic that they use is they always smile or use jokes. You know what I mean? I don't joke with no Mexicans. That just leaves the door open for disrespect.
Disrespect, 100.
You know what I mean? Like I don't. It's not no game. You know, but I just think like either this woman calling out like these gangs and saying, and then I heard that she has the choice to resign. Like not just her, you know what I mean? I don't know if it's true or not, but one of those reports that they're waiting for her to resign. I don't know if she probably did already. She stepped down, something like that. The vice mayor of that small town. But yeah, that's the most definitely indeed treason, But what is America saying? You could raid the White House, you could call on your SA homies, but you still can't be a nigga.
Righteous.
That's
And that's
crazy.
the truth. That's the truth of the matter, man. Unless you're a compliant nigga. And see what white America wants us to be is either grown boys or effeminated males.
Mm.
Then they accept you. You're socially accepted by white folks. When they can boy you, they can treat you like a boy, and you're always smiling. Like, no, all of us ain't like that, homie, because shit is real in my household. It's real in the field. It's real in the community that I come from. So I don't just wake up every motherfucking morning smiling.
Mm-hmm.
Because this day presents another challenge to where I gotta creatively find a way to feed my babies.
Mm-hmm.
Shit is real. There's still a lot of opportunities that are that's gate kept away from us. We're still dealing with the racial components and the racial social constructs and all that's created to hinder our natural progression. While everybody else can get into any field that they choose to, any field of their liking, but us, oh no, man, it's either a rigorous process or they just don't want to fuck with you. So with us knowing that, why don't we become proactive instead of reactive and start creating our own? Let's stop supporting these motherfuckers that don't support us. Let's stop supporting these motherfuckers that don't like us. How do we move in a position to where we're self-sufficient and independent? That's what we got to do. But on the flip side, anytime that we have became self-sufficient and independent and our communities begin to thrive beyond that of our white counterparts, they sabotage our communities. Even in California, Central California, it was an agricultural community that was made up of all blacks. Their crops was better. The way that they got down, their prices were better. They went and they poisoned the water supplies. The people's not even knowing it, drinking the water, got sick. Some of them died. The water was so contaminated that they had to abandon that town. They had to leave.
This was a black community, said
A black
Central
community in Central
California.
California, up there by Bakersfield, is either Allensville, something Allens.
Wow.
But we see the same thing in Seneca Village, where Central Park is right now today. A thriving black community.
Yes.
They had its own hospitals, its own everything.
It's like New York's Black Wall Street for New York.
Exactly. Even Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Even a black thriving community in Los Angeles. They say, oh no, these niggas doing better than us. These niggas living better than us. So what they did, they ran the freeway through that motherfucker community. But even when you go to other regions where there was thriving black communities to where we didn't see each other as the opposition and we didn't oppose one another, they ran freeways through those sections, through those communities and shit, man.
Yeah, I did hear that that freeway did a lot of damage to the community, right through the black communities, and just disheveled everything. Kind of like when they knocked down all the projects in Chicago and also in Newark. People started moving all the different sides. Issues started happening. People from different sides of town start commingling.
Right.
Yeah, man. So what do you think? What do you think it can be an antidote to letting our people know, man, that we don't really got too many allies out here, that all we got is ourselves?
Shit, we don't. We ain't got to let them know they know.
Mm.
They just infatuated with the gang culture and us opposing one another because it's trending.
Mm.
It's hip. It's popular. It's what we see in the movies that we love so much. It's us going against us. The music that we hear is us going against us. So we have been programmed and conditioned to believe, even though we got all these other people that oppose us, it's trending for us to go after one another. There's a business for that. Just many years ago when they came out with those Truth DVDs, it was a brother from off the East Coast said there's a market for niggas. There's still a market for niggas. It's just niggas don't understand that they have a market for niggas.
Yeah.
It's a market that's rooted in your demise. It's a market for that. It's a market in our communities continue. It's a market for our communities to still be disunified. It's a market for that. But niggas don't understand, homie. We know that the world is against us. The world let us know we don't like niggas. We don't fuck with y'all. We know this. But we are being programmed to only be proactive against one another. And that's some bullshit. We need healing, bro. We got to unlearn all the shit that they done taught us about ourselves, their country, what community is, what family is, because what worked for them don't always work for us. Even the medication that they give African American and the medication that they give a Caucasian person is being bioengineered to help this person, but it has been engineered to kill you. Like,
Yeah,
this
when
shit
they
is
say they
real,
do
homie.
tests on people, when they do tests on people, everyone is not the same. People are born with different ailments or even different blessings that they have. So how can certain treatments be the same for everyone?
Exactly.
They're not, you know, even when they had those experiments with the Tuskegee, you know, things like that, and injecting people. And these is government facilities. This is the hospital, you know.
The Tuskegee, what they called that? It was a word for it. The Tuskegee
Tuskegee experiments,
the
something like that.
Tuskegee experiment, right? When they was injecting brothers with syphilis and all manner of other ailments and diseases and whatnot, that they won't come out and say, yeah, we gave them more than just syphilis. If HIV/AIDS is a sexually transmitted disease, how did the first person get it? How did the first person get it if it can only be transmitted through sex? How did the first person get it? So you mean to tell me that this nigga jacked off and contracted AIDS and went into the community and started spreading it? Hell no. How did the first individual that got AIDS, how the fuck did that person get it? They injected it in them. It's being scientifically proven. They were saying, hey, you got to watch out for those blood transfusions because some of the blood has HIV and AIDS in it. This was popularized, well, not popularized, this was publicized in the 90s, the early 90s. Motherfuckers were saying that they was going to the dentist and shit and getting AIDS from the dentist. How the fuck do you go to the dentist and contract AIDS?
Wow.
2 or 3 years ago, it was a hospital in Northern California. They had to go out and issue they had to let it be known that some of the people who were in their care, under their care, may have been exposed to HIV and AIDS. So if you've been under the care of this specific hospital within this time frame, you need to come back and let us check you.
Wow.
The government gives motherfuckers these diseases.
So all this is population control.
Population control. Anytime there's an enclave,
so they're gonna have the genocide.
Most definitely. Anytime there's an enclave or a stronghold for black people to be self-sufficient and independent, you better be guaranteed that AIDS is coming. Now that Houston is thriving and they're growing, now they're saying, oh man, it's an AIDS epidemic down here. Man, everybody catching AIDS. They saying some people got 3 in 1. AIDS, herpes, hepatitis, AIDS, herpes, chlamydia, AIDS, herpes, gonorrhea. And then when you go to Atlanta, which is another enclave of successful independent blacks, they was going through an AIDS epidemic. Now North Carolina is going through it because now a lot of black people is flocking to North Carolina because of the opportunity that's out there for black folks.
Yeah, down south,
Come on, man, this shit is by design, homie.
So you think that a solution would be us to have our own state in America or somewhere in Africa?
They'll never do that. They would never allow us, because if they was going to allow us to have our own state, right, they could have just gave us Oklahoma. But they just gave us reservations in Oklahoma. If they wanted us to have our own state, have our own land, have our own property, they would have honored their word and gave us our 40 acres and a mule. They don't want that. They won't allow us to be in a position to where we can separate, to where we can segregate ourselves and build each other up. Like, hell no. What the fuck is them niggas over there doing on that land that they just bought?
Yeah, they're gonna be monitoring. We're the most monitored on the face of the earth.
Most definitely. And I always told the brothers, man, we need to start some type of export, import with our brothers over there in Africa. The Mexicans do it. They get in a position to where they got a little money and they start doing business with their people.
Yeah.
We need to do that. But I don't think the United States government would allow us to do that.
Do you think that's already being done on some level?
On a small level, yeah, but it's like shea butter.
You mean like freights, like moving big shit between
that's what we need to be doing.
Liner. Okay.
Ibrahim Traore, he just took over his country gold reserve, right? Well, not reserve. He just took over his country gold. All the gold in Burkina Faso, he did. Nigga, this our shit. If you want to wear gold chains and all this shit, why don't we start putting money together to start our own businesses to where we can start selling our gold to our people versus see everything that we consider valuable and give you social status, we go to foreigners to get. You want a nice car to give you status? That's German made. That's Italian made. You want to get you some nice jewelry? We going to the Koreans or the what is it called? The East Indian made.
India, yeah, Indians,
Yeah. We're not going to our people to get the things that we feel add value to us. If you want to wear nice clothes, you're getting it from Italy or you're getting it from France. Gucci, Louis Vuitton, and all this other shit that's started by people who don't like your people.
Who stole the patterns and
all that shit from us. So it's essential for us to start some type of trade with us in Africa. After everything's settled and we can go over there, we should be going over there hollering at our people. They got the gold. Big dog, what's up? What you gonna give me the gold for? Bobby A was popping, man. I'm gonna give y'all the gold for the LO. Go do your thing. Go ball out. Go give to the people what's naturally, what was originally ours. Well, we ain't giving it for free. It's a business, but we got so much of it in Africa. Now we tied into them to where we can give you a nice chain that you'll go pay 10,000 for. Give us 6.5 or 7,000. Go ahead, take that. We got to start moving towards being independent and self-sufficient. And the things that we feel like gives us value, we got to start creating these things. It got to be owned and controlled by our people, bro.
That's a fact. That's a fact. But then we got to work on the psychology of the African man because they be want to bleed us dry like we the white man also.
Poverty. I understand it.
Poverty.
When
yeah.
white folks come in our community and they green as a motherfucker, do we not do the same thing? Hey,
like,
man, I'm trying to
give him a bag of oregano. You heard? Put like one nug in there.
That's all I'm saying. Poverty-stricken conditions. We inflate prices when you're not from over here.
Yeah.
You may not be a returning customer. You probably be here on vacation and all this and all that. So, hey, man, I'm trying to get a bag of that. For him, I give it to you for 20. You my people. Nigga, when you get your check, you coming to spend some more money. This motherfucker's out here going to Disneyland, Magic Mountain, and the tourist attraction. He's a tourist. So I'm gonna inflate the price. Hey man, give me 60 for it. I'll give you a deal. Give me 60. And they don't have no problem tearing it off. Even if you go to Brazil, it's the same thing. Even when you go to Pakistan, India, it's the same thing from the destitute people. They inflate the price. You know what I mean? So I don't blame our African brothers for trying to, you know what I mean? But when you have a conversation like, come on, man, that ain't the price.
Yeah.
I give you a $5 tip. You know what I mean? Man, let's stop playing, bro. Once you get at them like that, they're like, okay, my friend, then for you, my friend, give it to me for. Now we can do business like.
Do you think within these years of Trump that the issues with the children of migrants and their children, these issues are gonna grow? Are they gonna get worse?
Hell yeah, it's gonna grow and get worse because they said that they are committed to this. They said they're not wavering. They saying they're not leaving this. Their goal is to send as many back as possible. They politicking and they own that. You feel what I'm saying? That's part of his agenda as being the president. Mass deportation. Yeah, I don't see this going away. The rioting stopped, but like they were saying, like, man, how long y'all gonna riot? Because he got another 3.5 years in office.
Yeah.
So how long they gonna keep this shit up? You know what I mean? But it stopped.
Yeah.
Did the ICE raid stop? No. They're
these
still
things
going
happened in his last term. I remember they came to my apartment from one of my neighbors. It was happening. It just wasn't publicized on such a mass level, but they was having ICE raids.
Right.
That's what come with Trump. But
it ain't just Trump. Barack Obama also pushed the agenda of deportation. Let's not overlook that. And you can Google that. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I thought he let them all in.
Biden let them all in.
Oh.
Biden opened up the borders. Biden was getting into it with Texas like, no, fuck that. We about to secure our borders. Biden said, God damn it, you better not secure those borders.
Yeah.
To where they got their national guards and said, no, nigga, secure these motherfucking borders. And Biden said, okay, I'm sending the feds down there to holler at you. And they say, send them. Because if they come down here the wrong way, the motherfuckers will be returning in body bags.
Mhm.
And that's when other states, neighboring states, said, no, fuck that. We're going to send our national guards to come down there and show you some support. And that's when the talks of a civil war had begun to spread throughout America.
Mm.
Texas dropped this nuts and said, no, man, you motherfuckers ain't going to have to deal with the aftermath and the after effects of us opening up these borders and let anybody come over here. They got footage. They got footage of Chinese military-age men coming over here.
Mm.
Middle Easterners, Middle Easterners, military-age men coming over here. No women, no children. These are not the sleeper cells, but the sleepwalkers. That's going to be going around America waiting on their orders and their directives to execute their objective of what they're here for. You get what I'm saying? Like, shit can get real hectic real fast with all those individuals that the Biden administration allowed to come over here in America that's undocumented. Some of them, we don't even know where the fuck they at.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, come on, man. That's not how you run a country. That's not how you run an organization. That's not how you run a
community. Oh, let everybody in. Everybody can eat. No, everybody literally can't eat. Like, that's not how countries are run. You feel me? These need to get accounted for. You know what I mean? These need to, you know, it's especially if this is not a communist country, then no, everybody, you know, everything is not equal. And then the other countries, they deport people all the time. Like I was saying before, Mexico is a big staple in Latin America. Like people want to be there compared to Nicaragua. You know what I'm saying? Or some people want to be in Costa Rica compared to Uruguay or something like that. These people can still work and make these lives for themselves. It's like they on steroids when they get here because they have PTSD. In some of these countries, they get murdered for trying to pick up a book. They get murdered if they don't clean that pan right. So hell yeah, when they get up here, when they working and damn go to corral, that shit is gonna be turned up. Okay, granted, but everybody's not like that. Everybody doesn't have that same drive, and it really irks me when people say, "Oh, well, who's gonna be working at the shopping centers? Who's gonna be at the cashiers?" I'm like, who was there before? You know what I'm saying? Like y'all acting like these jobs is like, oh no, but no American wants them. I'm like, why is it always somebody else telling me that? Before it was my old situation, she was from another country saying like, but yeah, but they're doing jobs other like who told you that? Have you ever met a brother out of jail that need a job? You know what I mean? Like not the ones that want to just go back, but there's a lot of brothers that get out the pen and stuff like that, and they get a regular job, and then from that job they start their own business fast. Work ethic there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know no slouch in my personal within this bloodline of generations. Like all the men in my family take care of their kids, they got businesses, stuff like that. So I don't know when people be like, oh, who's gonna do all the jobs? We got the thing is the corporations like to shit on people and treat them bad. You feel me? They like to break the law on hourly wages and what's supposed to be paid. That's not us being lazy, it's us knowing our worth.
Right, exactly.
You know? So I really don't like when our own people, especially, and it'd be a lot of our women, like saying like, oh, everybody should come here, or oh, nobody wants to work. And these women be professionals on a higher level that never bust a sud in the kitchen before. So you don't even know how the dynamics of being a blue collar worker with these people. They mass up together to snitch on you, to tell on you, to passive aggressive, or not tell you the secrets of the job. Anything to get you out of there to get another one in there.
That's true. That's
You know
true.
what I mean?
That's a common practice amongst the Hispanic community, especially coming out of Southern California. But before they got those jobs cleaning wealthy people houses and either working in a farm, we was doing those jobs. Those were jobs that we were doing. When my people came out west, some of my people went up to Fresno and they worked in the fields picking strawberries and all this type of shit. Like, you know what I mean? Taking grapes off a grapevine. And, those were jobs that were occupied by, our ancestors, our grandparents, and so on and so forth, and all this and all that. Like, you know what I mean? But like you say, you got low security prisoners that you can get out there to work for $1 a day, $2 a day, $3 a day, because in a prison they're working for 35 cents.
Mm-hmm.
So why not allow these low custody individuals to go out there and work in the field? Might as well, because they got families and mouths that they got to feed back at home as well. So why not allow them to make that $2, $3, $4, $5? It's not gonna break you. This is what you was given to the Hispanic population, and then they can support and provide for their kids, and you don't have to worry about their kids going out and steal or robbing or doing some shit they shouldn't be doing to get the latest Michael Jordans, or not the latest, but the new releases. We don't wear the latest Michael Jordans. We do not wear that shit. You know, the re-releases. Hold on 1 minute. This pop. Yo, peace and blessings, King. What's the dinner now? I'm live. Oh, that nigga hung up. It's all good. What's poppin'?
Yeah. But yeah, man, I wanted to know what you're gonna be doing today. You gonna be going on your live, man? Because I feel like we broke that down wonderfully. We got a nice hour in there too.
I think we did longer than an hour, bro.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I'm gonna go live today. I got so many different things that I can choose from, you know what I mean? But I'm gonna most definitely go live today, put out some content, you know what I mean? Then after that, man, I gotta get ready for work. And I got to finish the script, man. I'm back to writing these scripts. I don't know if you know, but I got a movie that's on
Imperial Visions. Check
Imperial
it out.
Dreams.
It was on Netflix, right?
Yeah,
Imperial
it used to be on
Dreams.
Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the story of my life, man.
Yeah, make sure y'all check that out, man. Support Bobby Yeye Jones, man.
On the reels, man. On the reels. I appreciate the support and the love, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming through, my brother. We going.
Hey, like my people back east say, man, word is bond. You know what I mean?
Word is bond.
I give my life before I betray my word, man. Word is bond. You know what I mean? If I tell you I'm gonna do something, you can bet your bottom dollar I'm gonna get it done. You know what I mean? And that's just how we gotta govern ourselves as man. You feel me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. True indeed. Hopefully you be a returning guest.
Hey, come on, man. We locked in, man. Stop that, man. Hey, listen, homie. We locked in. We can, folks, man. But without further ado, man, everybody stay up. God bless y'all, man. And, you know, let's work towards living in peace before we have to rest. And with that, I'm gone. Be blessed, brother.
Right. Peace, brother. All right, that was brother Bobby Yeye Jones from the Imperials. Thank him very much for coming through, showing love. This definitely was a powerful session right here. We're going to have to clip this up. There's a lot of things said. We're going to clip it up, see what it do, man. Thank God for coming through.
It feels so good when you drink it. Yeah, you can drink and eat organisms. It kills all the shit in your body, all the dirt and the mold that you got in your shit, dog. You know what I'm saying? We all got bacteria. You know what I'm saying? But I don't even know the name. Bunchy. That's the name of it. What? Kombucha. Organism. Enzymes. Prohibitats and whatever the detox. You need it, dog. So, flag on yourself with this shit. Organism, all right? One. That shit made me feel like I was in a movie, man. That organism and shit had me like, go over there.